Well, well, well. If it isn't time for more Flight Sim, I just felt the urge for some tonight, you know? So, it feels like a really good time for it. Okay, that is working. That's fine. Right. Okay. So, be mostly going through the tutorials today. As I said, I was going to try and do it before. Last time for a proper start. But, I'd already had to go with this week's challenge, and it looked pretty nice, so I thought I'd do a rerun of that. Get out of the way. I actually got a good score from near 500,000 points, which I'm happy with, which shows the actual improvement I've made versus where I was before. So, let's give this a go again. It's a really nice little area. Mouse. Let's try and pull up.
500.
It's a really pretty part of Peru.
500.
In. Get it somewhat smooth for the runway. Oh no, that's not as good of approach as I got the last time. Okay. Slightly off, slightly off. I mean, we got it down somewhat, yeah. I really landed nice and clear on my actual first run, you know, just a bit late with the turning. So my smoothness is nice, but terrible ground roll and precision not too great either. But yeah, so about half the score that I got the last time. So I'm honestly quite happy with getting 500,000 there now. Seeing as I think my score for the Papa West Ray one was like single or double digits. Activities 2, what have we got? Is it still the same ones as last time, or famous ones? Yeah, no, it still seems to be the same ones as last time. Right. Okay. Right. Let's actually try some training. Don't worry, your training instructor is there throughout the flight to help you. Well, I'm glad.
Welcome to flight training. I'm your instructor, Captain Molina, but you can just call me Jess. This session, we'll get started with some basic controls. Sound good? First things first, let's get familiar with your surroundings. Don't worry, I've got the stick while you get your bearings. Out your side windows, you can see we have great visibility over Sedona today. This is Red Rock territory. Beautiful, isn't it? Spot the Sedona Airport. The runway should be a pretty easy landmark to find. There you go. Visual confirmation on the airport. Now that we're oriented, it's your turn. Time to fly this bird. The first control on our training list is the yoke. I still remember my first instructor saying the yoke is like a steering wheel. Almost. Sure, you can turn, but you can also pitch. For starters, it controls the ailerons. And the ailerons, they allow the plane to roll and bank into turns. Go ahead and try rolling to the right. Nice. Now let's see you level back out. Good. Of course, the yoke also controls the elevator. And the elevator affects the plane's pitch, right? Pull back on the stick, the plane starts to climb. Give it a shot. The most valuable things in aviation are speed and altitude. But notice, when you're pitching up, your speed is decreasing. You could add more power. Or for now, let's just pitch down. Just like that, your speed's picking up again as the nose pitches down. As you level back out, let's talk about another control, the rudders at your feet. Rudder pedals control the aircraft's side-to-side movement, also known as yaw. On the ground, those pedals are going to steer the plane left or right. Up here, they properly align us during turns. Try them out, and watch the plane's nose skew to either side. Simple enough, right? Before we go on, let's bring the plane back to straight-up flight. Make sure your dashboard is aligned 3 to 4 inches below the horizon for a cruise attitude. Okay, the last thing we're gonna cover now is the throttle. If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. full control over the power output of the engine. Let's see what happens when you cut all the power. Surprise, surprise, our altitude is decreasing. This might be a good time for a piloting PSA. Always keep an eye on your surroundings, because nobody likes a low-flying duck. Alright, let's go ahead and throttle back up. There you go. Speed is increasing, and as long as we maintain the same attitude, our altitude will keep climbing too. You're really getting the hang of your controls. Before long, you won't even need a co-pilot. Until then, if you want help with the radio or checklists or simply flying the plane, I'll be here. You can pass me the controls when you're ready to finish your session, or keep flying. It is a great day after all. All right, I have control. Good job.
Are those dummies on top of that plane, or is that supposed to be the instructor and myself in a really awkward view? Right. Okay. Great. Hooray! I did great. Okay. Terrific work. Terrific work. Right. Next training: fly attitudes and instruments. Sure. Let's have a look at the instruments. Let's learn this bad boy.
Today we're talking about attitudes of flight, how your plane is oriented relative to the horizon. If you look outside, you can see the cockpit is just about 4 inches below the horizon line. We're flying straight with a decent rate of speed. This is the cruise attitude. Let's see how it reads on your instruments. Take a look at the attitude indicator. As the name implies, it shows your current attitude. The white line is the horizon, with the sky above and the ground below. That orange element in the middle, aligned with the horizon, that's your plane. Just like we saw outside, our current attitude reads pretty much straight and level. Okay, now let's see how much power the engine's generating. Check your tachometer. Looks like we're pushing around 2,300 revolutions per minute. Combined, attitude and engine RPMs translate to aircraft performance. Which leads us to your airspeed indicator.
Yeah, okay, I was wondering, because it didn't look like it was 3 or 4 inches below the horizon. It looked like it was way below, and then the RPM range didn't match either. So, is the training broken? I mean, the co-pilot was in charge. I couldn't do anything. What's going on?
Today we're talking about attitudes of flight.
Yeah, the RPM's dropping off a cliff. It did start at 23, but it is dropping down, and
you can see the cockpit is just about 4 inches below the horizon line.
Yeah, it drops to around, what, 1,700?
We're flying straight with a decent rate of speed. This is the cruise attitude. let's see how it reads on your
Yeah,
instruments.
it's dropping to 1700 at the moment. She's gonna crash again. Dear co-pilot, can I take over because I don't think you know what you're doing.
Take a look at the attitude indicator. As the name implies, it shows your current attitude. The white line is the horizon, with the sky above and the ground below. That orange element in the middle, aligned with the horizon, that's your plane.
Co-pilot,
Just like we saw outside. Our current
no,
attitude reads pretty much straight and level.
no, this is definitely not straight. Look and see, yeah, you left the airspace.
Okay,
Look,
now let's see how much power
it's
the
broken.
engine's generating.
Hello?
Check your tachometer.
No, you're down to 1500 now.
Looks like we're pushing around 2300 revolutions.
No, you're pushing 1500. No, you're gonna crash again. No.
Attitude and engine RPMs
Co-pilot,
translate to
instructor.
aircraft performance.
Right. Okay. Let's. Okay. No, the instructor damaged the bloody landing gear. Don't tell me I damaged it. Right. That's okay. Let's try this again from loading from the main menu and see if it actually works. Boy, that's a bug. That's a bug. That is certainly a bug. Christ, right. We're gonna have to go straight to the tachometer and make sure that we're actually going at 2300 and not. I mean, I should be able to see straight away if things suddenly drop. Right. I've put my throttle to 100 just in case. Just in case it is like reading. Whenever I click ready to fly, that it's reading my original input for whatever it was, which was the co-pilot, and then doesn't change. So sure, let's click ready to fly. No,
Today
we're
talking
still.
about attitudes of flight. How your
No,
plane is
okay.
oriented relative to the horizon.
Okay.
If you look outside,
Okay,
the
this is
cockpit
so
just
broken.
about 4 inches
This is so
below the horizon
broken.
line.
Oh my god, right.
We're flying straight with a decent rate of speed.
Um,
This is the cruise attitude. Let's see how it reads on your instruments.
it doesn't read great, that's what I'm telling you right now.
Take a look at the attitude indicator.
Right, okay. I am
The
going to
name
Google this
implies
and
it
see what the
shows
issue
your
is,
current
or see
attitude.
if other people have had
The
this
white
issue.
line is the horizon, with the sky above and the ground below.
Instructor crashing.
That orange element in the middle,
tutorials.
aligned with the horizon,
Microsoft
that's your plane.
Flight Simulator.
Just like we saw outside. Our
2020.
current attitude reads pretty much straight and level. Okay, now let's see how much power the engine's generating. Check your tachometer. Looks like we're pushing around 2300 revolutions per minute. Combined, attitude and engine RPMs translate to aircraft performance. Which leads us to your airspeed indicator.
Aha. Yeah, so apparently it's a bug with the latest patch that's been around for 2 weeks now. So, yeah, I found the thing from the posters from 13 days ago. So yeah, apparently the latest patch is completely broken flight training 2 thing. And I wish the game would stop telling me iCloud is an object thing, as I've done fuck all. Lauren, hi. I did not crash. The flight instructor crashed. I didn't do anything. It's so apparently, right, apparently, let me hold on. Let me just bloody link this in YouTube chat. So yeah, the flight instructor crashes the fucking plane. As of this current patch. Great. Can't even complete training 2. Here I am thinking, oh hey, maybe I'll finally just go and do the training and learn more about my flying and all that. But no, I just have to skip training 2 and not learn what any of the fucking instruments do. I'll have to look up a video of someone else doing thing. Right, great. Okay, thanks Asobo. That's wonderful. That's really made me feel fucking great about flight training. Hey, do you want to learn how to do your instruments? You're only doing it right if you crash into the fucking ground. Oh my god. I don't believe it. I don't fucking believe that that's there. I mean, I guess I could kind of see how it would get through in that, I don't see how that would get through. I'll just wing it, huh? Okay, yeah. In a way, I don't see how that would get through thing, but I suppose they don't check the flight training anymore. But yeah, so it just seems to automatically cut the power some way in the thing, seeing as it drops from 2300 RPM to 1500 RPM. Takeoff and a level flight. Getting airborne, right? Okay, we've got our landing, we've got our traffic pattern, we got our first solo flight, we got our navigation. Right. Okay, right. We'll just move on to 3, and we'll come back to learning what the actual screens do and instruments do at some point. I can't believe that. I can't believe that has made it through. That your instructor is just a suicidal maniac. A suicidal, homicidal maniac. Is my instructor Sabu? I do not know. Boy, that is a bug. That is a fun bug, but it's an annoying bug. Oy, right. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm ready to fly.
There's an old saying I like. A mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere.
Wow, deep, fucking deep for a suicidal batch.
There are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position.
I don't see how pressing this button to look at the runway where I look at my underwing makes me feel, unless I'm just, yeah, okay, well, whatever. Okay, turn off your parking brakes. Align the aircraft in the center of the runway. Stop the aircraft using the brake. Okay, great. Okay, let's... Alright, let's badly align this thing. Oh, boy. Okay, great. Now we get a lovely little hitch, right? As I don't need it. Right, okay, right. Let's brake. Come on, brake. Brake. I'm holding the brake as hard as I can. Come on. Alright. Is that aligned enough for the center runway, please?
Yeah, okay. Apply full power and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Totally my first ever takeoff. Look at that, look at the little buggies and cars and all driving along over there. Ain't that cute? Right, let's go.
Use your rudders to stay on the center line and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots.
55 knots? Okay. But it's a shame I can't tell which instrument panel tells me what 55
now
knots.
gently pull back on the yoke. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. And we're airborne.
Yeah, I'm so great.
Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep the runway heading of 210 degrees. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time.
I'm more about 80 knots, but, you know, it'll do.
Ah, 5,500 feet. A nice, safe altitude for part 2 of our lesson. Straight and level flight. First step here is adjusting our attitude. We're in a cruise attitude, pushing max power. To stay level at our target altitude, let's start by easing the throttle back to 1,800 RPMs.
Ah, that's not a good. That's not good. Okay. Have to maintain my. Okay, but altitude back. Okay, got our altitude back. Yeah, this is very. This is definitely a very safe and level flight. Gonna blame the instructor. My previous instructor, who seemed to be a twin of this current instructor, was just really, you know, all about killing herself and killing me too. So. I don't know how I survived those 3 crashes. So I need to pull back on the throttle more. Right, there we go. Let's get back up to the height we need then. Yeah, this is totally safe and level. Definitely not any madness has been happening at all. Nope, not one bit. Come on.
You probably noticed, to maintain altitude, you need to pitch the nose up. You could just keep pulling on the yoke to hold steady, but that's not really a precise means of control. Probably better to adjust your trim wheel until you don't need to push or pull on the yoke. Drag the trim down when you need to set the nose up. Drag it up to set the nose down. Try adding trim to keep us at 5,500 feet without increasing throttle. If you feel our pitch slipping and need to get back to the proper attitude, don't worry. Just pull on the yoke, then dial in the right trim.
Yeah, dialing in this trim has definitely been what I've had most trouble with in Flight Sim. Using the buttons on my shtick. Am I out at 5,500 feet? Where am I? Boy, that's not a nice noise. Come on, get back up to 50 or 5500. Come on. Got a bit to go. Got a bit to go. Okay, I see where it is in that instrument dial where the 5 is, or what indicates the 5. Okay, I get it now. I see it now. Again, the issues of not bloody having the proper tutorial for the instruments for the specific plane. I didn't see the third hand. I'm just gonna have to increase my throttle. We've fallen that far off. It's taking way longer than it should.
When you adjust the trim, you make rough changes at first to remove pressure on the yoke, then small adjustments to find the perfect setting to keep your desired attitude. That's the key to straight and level flight. It saves you from constantly pushing or pulling on the yoke. And that gives you more time to enjoy the ride. If you want more practice using the trim, go for it. Whenever you're ready to pass the controls, I'll be here.
Yeah, let me just think. 'Cause I don't know. But some other flight games I've not really struggled with the trim too much, but with this one it's always been tough dialing in because it always feels that it just drops high and low then. I mean, basic idea. We'll pass it on.
Okay, I have control. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.
Wait, she's control. Again, what's with the... that wasn't part of the plane, right? But this is all so broken. This is... I want to see the two people sitting there. Okay, let's try the landing.
My first instructor used to say the best part of flying is landing in one piece. The man was a terminal pessimist, but he wasn't wrong. Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing.
Oh no. Oh
We've got
no.
clearance for a straight-in approach, so we don't have to complete the standard traffic pattern. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 10 degrees of flaps and idle power. We're on the glide slope now. Maintain speed around 65 knots. Change your pitch if you need to, and keep your aim point on the runway number. When you're targeting the runway number, you want to keep it steady in your sights.
Yeah, I'm ready to keep it steady.
If it looks like the number's moving up in your windscreen, you're coming in low. You'll need to add a bit more throttle to get back on the slope. If it looks like the number's moving down in your windscreen, well, then you're too high. You'll need to add flaps to increase your rate of descent, but you'll also need to push forward and trim to change your attitude and maintain the same speed.
Oh god, this is not working well. Yeah, I've extended the flaps, thank you.
Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. Once we pass the threshold, shift your aim point to the end of the runway. Then, pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
This is not a good landing. Listening to her is not helping me. Not helping me. Right, okay, right.
Okay, we're past the threshold. Start the flare. Keep pulling back slowly. Let the plane settle onto the runway. Don't push it down, but don't let it start climbing. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Great job. As they say, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. If you can use the plane the next day, it's outstanding. Landings can be hard, even for seasoned pilots. Trust me, don't hesitate to practice. After all, that's what we're here for, right?
I mean, if anyone knows a hard landing, I guess she does. Right, okay. Okay. Yeah, let's get on to the traffic pattern then.
Let's be honest, no one likes going around in circles, unless you're a pilot training on traffic patterns. Sedona's standard traffic pattern follows a 1,000-foot altitude around the main runway. By the time we're through here, you'll know how to complete the full run from takeoff to landing. So let's get started.
I mean, I don't know about that. Also, that circle joke was terrible. I appreciate it really much because it was that bad. Right, okay. What was it? 75 knots? 55 knots? Go with 75.
Keep us aligned with the runway and climb to 5,400 feet. We're going for a left-hand traffic pattern.
Oh, maybe that third hand doesn't do shit then. Maybe it was just two hands. Okay, I think I see what the instrument does exactly.
Once we reach altitude, you're gonna start turning left 90 degrees toward a 122-degree heading. Okay, we're in the pattern. Get ready to enter the crosswind section. Good. Keep going till you reach the traffic pattern altitude of 5,700 feet. Ready to make your left turn downwind? When the runway appears at the halfway point of your wing strut, you'll know you're at a good glide distance. We've got the wind at our back now. We're on the right track. Lower your nose to a cruise attitude and reduce power to 2,100 RPMs. Once your speed is in the white arc, add 10 degrees of flaps to prep us for landing. Now's not a bad time to check if the runway is looking good. And, it probably goes without saying, always watch out for other planes entering or exiting the pattern. fly past the end of the runway here. Keep going until you see it at a 45-degree angle behind you. That's your cue to turn left again, onto the base leg. Alright, reduce power to idle to start losing altitude and maintain cruise attitude. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn. That'll also keep our speed around 65 knots. There we go. The runway's in full view. Make sure to keep the plane centered on approach. If you're too high, add flaps. Too low, add power to maintain the glide path.
I got flared too early. Okay, well, a bit of a bounce, but hey, we're down, so... Too much speed anyways, too, as well, so...
Way to stick the landing. Now,
Thanks.
just apply the brakes to slow your roll. And make sure you don't stop on the runway, of course. If
Too bad
other
I stopped on the
planes are
runway.
looking to land, we've got to move. Take one of the taxiways on the right.
Don't tell me what to do. If I want to stop here, I can. But as if a plane did crash through, though.
Good job. As an old instructor said to me, not only did you not die, you're really learning to fly.
Yep, that's deep. Again, two people just appearing out at the top of the plane's a bit weird to me. Very weird. Right, that's somewhat enough of a traffic pattern, I guess. Alright, first solo flight. Where are we going with this one, then? Because I've totally never flown in this game before. Definitely never done a full solo flight. Okay, we're going to have a big, long one, by the looks of it. So we're going to crosswind a downwind base, final. Anticipate the wind for your final turn to not overshoot the runway.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember what we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
I don't remember anything, but hey. I feel maybe I need a new stick, because my rudder controls always seem a bit much. Even with like just like the tiniest of turns on it. That I need some actual rudder pedals. well above 65 knots, but hey, we'll slowing down now at least. So. Okay, we're gonna bounce again, but a bit better this time. Plus, hey, I remembered not to stop. Hooray! So if you landed the flight, you didn't die, right? Whatever. It's hard to.
Great.
Ah!
There's
Hello.
always room for
Goodbye.
improvement, that's life, right? But you did it all on your own. You weren't really supposed to land there. You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
Okay. Great. Seemed pretty dangerous with that forklift of just flying on through. Okay, we've got our navigation flight next.
I've always said, flying is freeing. Open skies, endless possibilities. But to fully enjoy it, you need to be prepared. We're going to focus this lesson on navigation prep and procedures, the fundamentals of getting from point A to point B. Step 1, putting some distance between us and the ground. Alright, we're off. Now, keep climbing around the airport till we reach 5,800 feet. Goes without saying, but good navigation starts with good departure prep. Let's set up the aircraft for the first leg of your trip. Attitude? Check. Now for your heading. When you need to set and maintain a heading, you'll want to rely on your heading indicator. Compasses are prone to errors, especially during turns or while accelerating or decelerating. Go ahead and position your plane above the airport.
I'm wondering then, are a lot of my issues with frame rate drops not also caused by any issues with the latest patch? I have to see the other stuff, because I never used to get stuff as bad as that. And the last time I tried one of these things, which was which was before the last patch, I wasn't getting the same issues of frame rate drops whenever the instructor took control either. So. Oh, one last bit of departure prep. We need to validate the time. That's a fancy way of saying start the clock. On the nav log, you can see our next waypoint, Munns Park, is at a 41-degree heading about 5 minutes away. Navigating is basically flying a given heading for a given amount of time. Sometimes you deviate, but if you track the time flown from your last known position, you'll always have at least a range for your current position. We all know speed can increase or decrease depending on the wind. That's why at your next waypoint you'll want to compare your estimated time en route with the actual time flown. Validate your estimate and your progress. Yeah, sure. That sounds doable, definitely.
Funds Park. According to the nav log, we've got one more stop. Flagstaff Pulliam Airport. An easier way to navigate is to follow identifiable landmarks like highways. And just so happens we have one below us.
Oh, this is a really pretty area. Nice big highway flowing through all these trees. Really pretty. How do I not get a check mark for following the highway yet, or is it whenever I get nearer the actual airport? Well, I've still been instructed to follow the highway, so let's keep it followed.
As you close in on Flagstaff Pulliam airspace, next step is setting up to enter the traffic pattern. We've got clearance to enter the downwind leg and land on runway 21. Keep your attitude, then follow the standard pattern. Lower your nose to a cruise attitude and reduce your power.
I really like how cloudy it got around here. Like this, lighting in this game will always blow me away, especially with, you know, these HDR highlights. In this game, just again, amazed me even more what Rockstar did with Red Dead 2. Even on the base consoles from last gen. Close enough to it being 45 degrees. Try not to use the notification in the air too much. Right, that is about 45 now, I'd say, around. So maybe we'll go on to this thing pops up, but I mean,
Power should be at idle now, so you're losing altitude while maintaining cruise attitude. Finally, a landing on runway 21, and we'll call this one done.
Wait. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. straight on, but that was probably my best landing of the lot.
All right, successful VFR flight in the books. Not bad. Not bad at all.
I don't feel like doing the first navigation flight now, so right, just some air alerts, yeah, so that's the last one in that section, so as well as having to eventually do number 2, once that gets fixed in the patch. Right now, 1 second while I figure something out about what to do next. I think at GFK, I've already done that in the main thing. Jackson, Toronto, Sydney. Yeah, we'll have a look at the Sydney one. Wait, 33. I should really turn off the landmark indicators in the air just to like it was handy for having it on for just like flying around Ireland, just being like, oh yeah, that is that spot, yeah, but you know, next step is to turn that off now and go fully naked. Right. Yeah, this is taking a bit to load in everything in Sydney, clearly. Gonna get a lot. This is the first time I've ever flown over anything in Australia in this game, so this is gonna tank performance for a bit, I imagine.
1,500.
Sure, that's not the airport we're supposed to land at, right? Ah, well, we'll just go on and see. If we crash, we crash. Yeah, we're gonna crash this one.
200.
Oh boy, oh boy. And it's successful. Very successful. Rip. I think that is the perfect way to end it there. I mean, I'm just taking after my flight instructor to crash me into the ground 3 times and in training too. I really hope it's so I get that fixed for the next patch, because I would like to just see what they say about the instrument panels for, in case I've missed anything, as I feel I probably have with some of the, like the for altitude and all that. But hey, still a very pretty game. I look forward to having a PC one day that can run things well at 4K and isn't CPU limited. Maybe in like 4 or 5 generations of hardware, we'll get some really terrific performance out of this on Ultra. Maybe. Unless it's still another semiconductor shortage. Right. I'm off.